talk about why we struggle to trust God. We'll look at the foundational root cause, some reasons why you may struggle to trust God, and how God builds your trust. Let's look into it. So what's the foundational root as to why we struggle to trust God? Genesis 3. Everything that you see today started there. So if you notice something remarkable, Satan never denies that God doesn't exist. He attacks his character. First of all, he tells Eve, did God really say you shall not eat of every tree of this garden? Then followed up with, God knows that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as God, knowing good and evil. So the first question God's word, his truth. The second one, question God's heart. So in other words, he was saying, God isn't as good as you think he is. He's withholding things that belong to you. He doesn't want you to be like him. He doesn't want you to know good and evil when he already made us in his image. So every temptation since then has echoed this lie, that God is withholding, that God cannot be trusted, that God doesn't want your best. So why do you struggle to trust God? Most likely because of your unanswered prayers. So you've prayed, nothing changed. You asked, heaven seemed silent. Many people in that point will conclude God doesn't care. I've seen a lot of people give God ultimatum. If you don't answer on this day and this day, I'm done. That's not how it works. So think of Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. What of God tells us in John 11, verse 5. It says, Jesus loved Martha and her sister. And they came unto him and said, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. And that was Lazarus. And Jesus Christ heard it, still didn't move. For the next 2 days, he stayed where he was at. So think about that. Even his love for these people didn't produce immediate action. Sometimes him not answering your prayer is part of a bigger plan, but you won't understand. So Jesus Christ said himself here in verse 4, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. He was revealing himself as the resurrection of life. So sometimes your situation is God showing off with you. He did that with Job. Sometimes God's delays serves a bigger, much bigger purpose that we can presently see. What about the people who are praying for healing and the healing doesn't come as quickly as you had hoped? So you begin to question, is God listening? Whilst if you're mature spiritually, you'd ask, can I still trust him? Even if I don't understand his timing, even if I cannot see the bigger picture. Another reason could be disappointment. Disappointment is very dangerous because